Hello everyone. In the last video, we talked about introduction of PHP programming language. All right, using PHP programming, we can write a simple web program that can connect with the database. In this lecture, we're going to talk about how you can use the XAMPP software. All right, using the XAMPP software, how you can write a simple PHP program. All right, and you can see the output, and you can also connect your PHP program with your database. All right, so we have actually created a simple tutorial, and one of my TA a few years back, actually he created this. He helped me to do make this tutorial. All right, so in this tutorial you are going to see step-by-step approach. Now just let me tell you clearly that you have to actually learn the PHP program by yourself. So in the last video, we gave you the overview. All right. So most of the programming languages concept, they're same, but you have to know in detail the syntax of PHP program by yourself. Okay, there are a few more tutorials like simple tutorials, WW School and Tutorial Point. All right, you can look at them, and you can get the idea how to write a PHP program. Okay, now here we are going to show you a tutorial how you can use the XAMPP software to write a using the XAMPP software, how you can run a PHP program and you can connect to your database. All right, so let's start. All right, so this tutorial it's posted in the Canvas, and this is a tutorial about like a introduction of PHP and how you can connect your PHP with MySQL. All right, so this is going to briefly describe how you can write a simple PHP program and how you can connect your PHP program with MySQL. All right, and you can see the result in your web browser. So PHP is a server scripting language. Okay, and using PHP, you can make dynamic and interactive web pages. So before you start to run a PHP program, what I want you to do that, you should start the XAMPP software, and you can actually see how you can run the PHP program using XAMPP software. So one thing is that I want to tell you that the XAMPP software comes with the PHP. Okay, so that means you don't have to worry about installing PHP anymore. All right, you have already PHP installed in your XAMPP software. All right, and XAMPP has also the Apache, and obviously it has the MySQL service. Okay, so let's see what actually we're going to do. So we're going to write a very simple hello world program in PHP. So the first step is that when you install XAMPP, for XAMPP, it has a folder. Okay, so this example is we are showing you in the Mac operating system. All right, so in the XAMPP folder, just go to the XAMPP folder, and there is another folder, htdocs. Okay, so you'll go to the XAMPP folder and htdocs folder, and in this htdocs folder, you are going to create your folder. You are going to create a new directory. Okay, and in this directory, we are going to save all our program, PHP program. So it's important that your PHP program has to be in this folder, in the XAMPP and then htdocs. Okay, in this htdocs, you can create any other directory, and in this directory you can actually store all of your PHP program. Okay, so you'll find htdocs in your XAMPP folder. Okay, all right, so now create a index.php. So the extension has to be PHP. Okay, create a index.php with any of your preferred text editor. All right, you can use Visual Studio, all right? But you can also use just a simple text editor, all right? So in this index.php, what you can do actually just write a very simple PHP program, just a hello world program. So as we are writing it as a web program, all right, we have to have the few HTML tag. Okay, so this will be this is going to show you the result as a web page. Okay, so we have to have this HTML start tag and end tag. So this is the body of the HTML page. That's how we write start of body and end of body. Okay, and this portion you can see that these start with by this symbol. This is the start of the PHP, this line. Okay, and this is the end of PHP. Okay, echo is a command by which you can print something, or you can also use print function. Okay, so this one is a single line comment. Then we are writing a echo statement. By using echo, it is going to print the same thing in your page. All right, so you can see that hello world, and this HTML tag is going to give you a new line break. So then we're declaring a variable by. Okay, so here also you don't have to explicitly specify the data type. From the value of the variable, it can find what is the data type of the variable. So new string variable value is by, and you are printing the value of new string. And as we said earlier, all variable in PHP start with this dollar symbol. Okay, now let's run this PHP. Okay, PHP program. So these are the HTML tag references. I will ask you actually just you can actually look at some tutorial how to write a simple HTML web page. Okay, right? How to write a HTML page, and you are going to need some tag. You have to just know a few of the tags to write to know about the HTML language, how to create a web page. All right, so these are we have some PHP scripting code here. This is the single line comment, this is the multi-line comment. All right, so now how you can find your output. So you have here your PHP line. You don't have to actually compile or anything. What actually you are going to do, you are going to open a web page. Okay, you are going to actually open your web browser. All right, so just open your web browser. So remember to start everything. Okay, so remember when we how to start our XAMPP server. Okay, so you have to start all of your XAMPP server, Apache server. Okay, you have to start everything from your XAMPP server. All right, then if every server is running, okay, you are going to open your web browser. All right, and in the web browser, this is the thing you are going to write: localhost :8080. So if this line works, localhost :8080, that means actually your server, Apache server, is running. Okay, then type another / and php_demo. So this is the folder where you are storing your PHP program. Okay, this is the folder where you are storing your PHP program. So if your name of directory is different, if your name of folder is different, then you have to here type your folder name. Okay, whatever your folder name is, you are going to type that here. So remember to type it correctly because it is case sensitive. We know that the name of folder is case sensitive. So type that correctly and give another /. So then press enter. So this is the result of our index.php. So again, remember to give the name of your PHP program index.php. So if the name is index.php, this will be your first PHP program that will run. Okay, you can start from the index.php and you can actually make a connection from this PHP program to other PHP program. Okay, from this PHP program, you can actually call some other function from other PHP program. Okay, but index.php program will be the program that is going to run after you actually after you are running this in your web browser. Okay, so few important things just remember when you are going to do that. So your folder where you are storing your index.php has to be in XAMPP htdocs folder. Okay, so this name of this folder, you can give any name. All right, but when you are going to run your program, the exact name you are going to use in your web browser. All right, and this is the output. All right, simple, right? So try that. And first, before you write any other PHP program, just check your XAMPP server, okay, and do these things, okay, and check whether you can run a PHP program using your XAMPP server, okay, and you are seeing your output in your web browser. All right, so now step B is that how we can connect a PHP program with a database. Okay, so let's say you have a database. I mean, you have a database in your MySQL. For example, that's a simple database. Okay, that's a sample database here. It's created. All right, so now it's another PHP program. Again, the name is index.php because I mean this will be the first program that will run. Okay, that will run. So you can actually write the code to connect with database in your PHP program, in your this index.php program. Okay, now how we can do that? So you can see that these are the sample code. So first of all, when you want to connect with your database, we need the information of the database server. All right, so for example, like if your database and your PHP program is in the same computer, okay, means your database server is in the local host and your PHP program also, I mean your Apache server is also in the local host. Okay, so the server name of the database is localhost. Username, so generally if you do not set any other username, the username is going to be root. Okay, and password, if you do not set any password is going to be actually no password. So this was the initial configuration. Actually, if you just connect to your database by running the XAMPP software, these are the initial configuration. But if you change anything with your username password, in that case, you have to use those information here. And you need the DB name because using the PHP program, we have to tell exactly which database we want to connect. For example, like if your database name is company, you are going to give the name of the DB name here. Okay. Now this is a function. Okay, by calling this function, PHP function, this is a predefined function. We can connect with a database. Okay, so this function is taking those argument, the server information, and it is going to create it is going to connect to the database. Now this connection, you can see it's a variable and it will have other information like its other information, and using the connection error information you can check whether the connection was okay or not. So always do that because there could be many reasons the connection can failed. Probably your server is not running. All right, probably there is no database, and is there any information is wrong. For example, if username and password is wrong, it will not be able to connect. All right, so always have this if else checking to check whether your connection is okay or not. So if there is no error, that means it's connected. Okay, so it's connected successfully, and here there is using this connection. Okay, using this connection, there is another function query. Using this function query, you can execute a query to your database. So you can see that what we are doing, we are executing a query from our PHP program to the database. Okay. For example, this query looks like this: select first name, last name, salary from player info. Okay. So what this query will be, you are going to write query based on your problem, all right, and based on your database, your relational schema, all right. So here you can see that we have a database here, and the database obviously has a table, player info, and this table has this column. Okay, we are selecting this information, we are executing this query in this database, and obviously this table has to be in this database, Denver Nugget player. And if you are having a different database, depending on your database, what table you have and what type of information you need, you are going to write a query. Okay, now if the query is successful, the information, it is going to fetch the result from the database, and those information will be assigned to the variable result. Now, as we said, how the result of query looks like. Okay, when we write a query in our database, and when we see the result, we always see the result in a tabular format, right? So all the result from the database, it will look like a two-dimensional array. Okay, all right. So okay, so now it will come as an array, and that means we have to run some for loop to look at the array. Okay, so you have the result, I mean you have the database result that you are holding in a result variable. All right, so now you have to actually look at this result variable, and you can write some other code to look at the information of this result variable. So obviously what this information is going to look like, I mean there can be multiple row, all right, and there will be 3 column: first name, last name, and salary. Okay, and we are going to run another function, fetch associative array. Okay, so this thing stands for associative. Okay, that means the value of this result, we can actually find it as a associative array. And for this associative array, the key of this array will be the column name. So for this array, the row, okay, we are getting all the information using this row. Okay, and the first name of row will be the value of first name, last name of row will be the value of last name, and salary of row will be the value of salary. Okay, and what we are doing, this is just information of one row. Okay, and if there are multiple rows, okay, you can see that this is one row, and we are running a while loop until we have a value for this row. All right, so this loop is going to run from row to row, and in each side row we can see the value of column for each row. All right, so this is a program by which you can connect to your database and you can run a query. All right, and that's actually all we need for our homework 2. So homework 2, we are going to first make our design of our database. We are going to create the table, we're going to create the database, we're going to create the table, we're going to create some initial row. All right, we're going to create some initial data in our database. Okay, now then we have to make a web application. We have to make a simple web application or desktop application. We can also do that, but if we are doing a web application, one way to do that by running a PHP program. Okay, and first we have to check whether we can run a PHP program using XAMPP. Okay, then we have to check that whether we can run a PHP program to connect to our database. Okay, that means you are half ready for our homework 2, part 2. Okay, all right, and so after you have this program, at the same way you are going to run your PHP program. Okay, go to your web browser, type that. Okay, go to your web browser and you are going to type in your here. Okay, this is the link you are going to check that. Okay, and the information is going to look like this. Okay, the result and the output is going to look like this. Okay, because you are printing your player name, all right, and the information, all the information based on our this program, it is going to look like this. So we are printing the information here: echo player name, first name, last name, and then salary. Okay, all right. So now, as we said that here, this is just a start. Okay, how you can actually start with your homework 2 part 2. All right, so for more information about PhD, you will actually find a lot of tutorials. So this is actually the W3 School has a tutorials actually from the scratch. If you are if you are a beginner, if you don't have any idea about PHP, you can start from W3 School. Okay, there are a lot of information, and from W3 School you can also learn a lot of idea about HTML tag. So we didn't design a fancy web page here, but you can see actually all the information we are getting in this web page here. Okay, so our homework too, also you don't have to write a fancy web page. All we are looking for, you can fetch the result from database and you can show the result in your application. All right, I hope that is going to help you with your homework 2 part 2. All right, and thank you so much.